Hello and welcome. My name is Frank, musician, photographer here in the Midwest, and here is Sony A6300 and Canon 24mm lens. Okay, so what is this video about? We're going to go through some photographs that I did indoors at a factory. Now, I used a tripod and I want to showcase this particular lens. Now you see how it's attached to the camera, and this part actually comes off. The reason it's there is because it helps the lens stay stable and it's not putting pressure on the body, right? So if you look, see how if you would normally put the tripod holder there, but instead you put it on the lens so it's evenly balanced. So let me just take it off just to show you real quick how that goes. All right, so and if your lens comes with it, or if it doesn't, you can get these very cheap, and then you can add them to your tripod. So what we're about to look at, we're gonna look at some photographs that I did, and I'll get myself back in focus in just a few seconds here. And 24mm on an APS-C, it's around 32 to 35, somewhere around there. This is a Sony A6300. It's an APS-C sensor, and there it is. That's what the lens looks like. So we're gonna take a look at these images, and then I'm gonna discuss with you. Now, if you follow my live stream, you've already seen some of these images. You already checked them out, or if you follow me on Facebook, you've already seen those. All right, so we're gonna take a look. This is a beautiful lens. It is a prime lens, by the way. So it's very sharp, and it gives you some nice field of view. All right, so let's get started. Follow me along, and then I'll explain to you exactly what's happening. Let me get myself in focus. Let's get going. And like I say, you guys, some of you guys who follow the channel already seen these photographs. Some of them I haven't showcased, so some of you guys have not seen it. And then my settings were raw. So I was shooting raw on a tripod, and some of these are bracketed photos. Not all of them. We're going to start off with some standard photos, which I think they came out really good too. And you know, so glad I had access to this place, and actually saw John's photographs that he did. He did his photography as well, and he was gracious enough to let me show it on a live stream. All right, so let's get started, and then I'll explain to you exactly what we're looking at. And by the way, these were edited in Lightroom. So let's start with the first photograph here. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so this is the first edit, and this is one single raw image edited in Lightroom. All right, so what we got here, look at all the blue in there. Now, I don't know what a lot of this stuff does. You know, all I know is it just looks really, really cool. You know, there's a lot to take in, right? And as you can see, it's a standard raw image. I mean, I think the image already is amazing. And you can kind of see that there's a tag over here that's blur. I think that was moving. There was a fan. There's multiple fans going all around this area. So, all right, so that's the first one. Let's move on to the next. Okay. So as you can see, we got some a lot of leading lines in this one, and I love the yellow in the background here. You know, I like the image, not too bad. I mean, it doesn't strike you like right away as the ones that are coming up. So as we're going along, this is the same thing except that I'm standing on the opposite side, and the reason I like this one is because of the depth of field, right? And you see in the background, you see the staircase, and you see more or less of what the place is, as opposed to just the wall that was on the opposite. And so it goes to show you, if you turn around and you get a different view of where you're standing, you can get more of the image. All right, so let's keep moving. Let's check out this image. All right, so here is the first HDR. So if you don't know what HDR means, it stands for high dynamic range. And as you can see, where I'm laying down my tripod, You know, it's very hard because of the way the openings are where you're standing. It's kind of like a, you know, it's a crate or a grid, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure there's a proper name for it, but I'm not sure. But yeah, my tripod legs are falling too. But I really like this one. A lot of detail in here, you know, and a downward angle. And, you know, I really like just the depth and, you know, the angle of this. You know, I really enjoyed this image. And, okay, so let's move on. Let's go to the next one here. Okay, so yeah, one of my favorites. And I think when I was doing the live stream, a lot of people also enjoy this image. And, you know, there's a lot to it. And then, you know, some parts are very predominant up front, very sharp, and it's exactly how I intended it to look. By the way, this one is also an HDR, and then I also try to make sure that I don't overdo the HDR, which is also a very difficult thing to do, to try to get it to look as natural as you possibly can. Sometimes it's not that easy because you can overdo it, but I think with this one, I think it actually worked out rather well. Everything is properly exposed, although like being there, I can tell you right now it was a bit dark, and I have a very good example of that. So let me know in the comments. Let me know which one of these is your favorite so far, and do you like this type of photography? And yeah, just like the fact, you know, everything that's going on here is just very beautiful. I really enjoy this one. Okay, guys, let's move on to the next one. All right, now this one is an upward angle, right? And, you know, once again, just a lot of different symmetry happening here. A lot of, I like the chains. I like the way these chains are hanging down. Now, the only thing that I don't like about this image is that I could have got it sharper, but it just adjusted it a little bit more. It would have been sharper. But anyways, I still like the image. I still think it works really, really well. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like this. This is like, you know, the camera's pointing up at an angle. All right, let's keep going. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's okay, so this is just a standard one. Nothing too particular. I guess I'm just showing where you know, like everything is in levels, right? You know what I mean? And as you're walking through, and it goes very high up, the building goes very high up, and all this is inside of it. And yeah, I particularly like the blue and yellow in this picture. I think they stand out rather prominently. All right, let's move on. Okay, so here's an example of 3 images in a very, very dark place. Now, here's the advantage of HDR, right? Because of the fact that, like, if I were to show you one image from the 3 that were taken in HDR mode, in the bracketed mode, you would have seen that they were all pretty much dark and you couldn't see anything. But because of the HDR, by the way, I use Photomatix to work with these, and then I bring them into Lightroom, and then in Lightroom I do a little bit more tweaking. But as you can see, these were put together, and you can see that there is some noise in the background here. That's just bound to happen in a very dark situation. So this particular area of the factory was very, very dark. And I don't know why I wanted to capture it, because there's nothing really prominent as the other pictures. You know, it was just, I guess I just wanted to see how well I can gather light inside of a dark situation. So that's what this is. And I tried not to overdo it, and I think it worked out rather well. All right, guys, so here is one of my favorites, right? And you guys know, as you're seeing this video, that I love black and white. Now, this is awesome. I love this. This is probably one of my favorite photographs. You know, it's just something about it is very striking, very straightforward. I don't know like exactly what this tank does, but obviously it says that it's a confined space and enter by permit only, right? It says danger. And look at the middle of that, you know, like whatever the material is there, you know what I mean? Whatever that is being captured like perfectly, and it's got a lot of depth. And, you know, I just love it. In color, I don't think it would have worked as well as it does here in black and white. Therefore, that's why I wanted to do it in black and white. Now, guys, I am going to have a proper video, because I did film some segments there, which you kind of saw a little bit of that a few minutes ago. But I am going to put it all together, and I also did some 360 photographs as well. So that's going to be a whole separate video. But I wanted to kind of showcase these photographs. So these were taken with the Canon 24mm lens, and I think this is by far one of my favorites. All right, so we're getting near the end here. Again, maybe not as striking as the other ones, but you know, I like it. I like the leading line. It's just kind of like the top section, and these pumps and levers and all kinds of stuff will capture my attention, so I took the shot on it. Yet again, HDR. Let's keep going. All right, this one, I like this one. I think it would have worked better, but as you can see, my focus was off. And man, you know what? Like I'm just beating myself because of the fact that, like, man, you could have done much better with, you know, focusing in, and then it would have been like a really striking photo. But nonetheless, I wanted to include it here and show it to you guys. And you know, it is, you know, that's what happens. You know what I mean? It's you know, I have to show all my stuff, you know, not just like the best ones, you know. And then it's also a learning experience for me, because I can kind of come back and reference back to see how I could have done better and whatnot. So, all right, guys, so that's it. Let me close this out. And once again, this was done with the Canon 24mm lens. Let me focus back on this bad boy. So there it is, and I think it works fantastic. Sony camera is amazing. It does a great job. I think it's an awesome camera. You can do the flip screen, which also helps in these situations. Let me just show you. So you can flip the screen. So if you're photographing, you can, you know, if you got an area and you got to go up, you've got the screen here and you can see what you're photographing with, which is also a very cool option. If you wanted to look up, you can look up in there in that kind of way. It doesn't come out like some other like screens that you can come out and like do, you know, if you wanted to film yourself or whatever. But yeah, guys, so yeah, that's the Canon 24mm lens, Sony A6300. Let me know what you thought about the image. Let me know if you like what you saw. Do you use this kind of camera, or do you use 24mm? If you do, let me know in the comments. And all right, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.